Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to everyone. We are from Group 9, want to present about Sanze. My name is Nusharina binti Syarif. My matric number 2554C2. First, I want to explain about the detail of Sanze. Sanze was an ancient Chinese general, military strategist and philosopher who lived in spring and autumn period. Sanze was born in 544 BC during the late spring and autumn period of the Zhou dynasty. His birth name was Shang Wu, and he was known outside of his family by his courtesy name Changjing. Sanze was born in the state of Qi. Sanze means master son. Thus, San was his family name, and Ze is an honorary title. Sanze supposedly died when King Helu was killed in 496 BC, aged 48, instead of Wu. Sanze was best known as the author of the work The Art of War, which became popular with strategy from all seven rival kingdoms during the Warring State period, which were Jin, Chu, Qin, Qi, Wei, Yue, and Wu. Next, I will explain about the history of Sanze. Sanze was described as a general who lived in the state of Wu in the 6th century BC, and he is one of the great Chinese thinkers of ancient time Confucius. According to tradition, Sanze was a member of the landless Chinese aristocracy, descendant of nobility who had lost their dukedoms during the consolidations of the spring and autumn period. Sanze worked as a mercenary. According to tradition, King Helu of Wu hired Sanze as a general approximately 512 BC after finishing his military treatise, the Bingfa. Bingfa can be translated as military methods, army procedure, or martial arts. After his hiring, the kingdom of Wu, previously considered a semi-barbaric state, went on to become the most powerful state of the period by conquering Chu, one of the most powerful states in the spring and autumn period. Sanze suddenly disappeared when King Helu finally conquered Chu. Therefore, his date of death remained unknown. Around 298 BC, the historian Zhuangzi, writing in the state of Zhao, recorded the Sanzi theory had been incorporated into the martial arts techniques of both offense and defense with both armed and unarmed combat. The historicity of Sanzi discussed extensively in the introduction to Lionel Guy's 1910 translation of The Art of War. The Art of War has been one of the most popular combat collections in the history. Ancient Chinese have long viewed this book as one of the ancient text material and is one of the most important collection of books in the Chinese literature. Next, I will explain about the definition of management theory. Sanzi's advice is so broadly applicable that there is no single Sanzi approach to management. Instead, individual business leaders study Sanzi to improve their own unique strategies. First is lying in wait. Sanzi classes were presented as a series of short aphorisms intended to be applied flexible to a wide variety of possible situations. For example, Sanzi advised leaders and generals that they should first make their own nation impossible to defeat and then simply wait for the enemy to make a fatal error. This has been interpreted by modern business people as an attitude of adaptive opportunism. Therefore, the company maintains its own stability while waiting and watching until a sudden error by a competitor presents an opportunity for rapid expansion of market share. Second is leadership. Sanzi's approach to management is similar, known as transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is a leadership style in which leaders encourage, inspire, and motivate employees to innovate and create change that will help grow and shape the future success of the company. According to Sun Tzu, effective leaders always inspire their followers by example. By displaying courage, discipline, and loyalty to the ruler, the general inspires his soldiers to perform courageously on the battlefield. Sun Tzu advised the leader to treat his followers as if they were his own children. A modern manager following Sun Tzu principle will show deep concern for the career and well-being of his subordinates, inspiring them to superior performance. Next is strategy and inspirations. According to Sun Tzu, excellence on the part of individual soldier is not so much a matter of temperament as situation. When the army has a tactical advantage, even the most cowardly soldiers feel brave. When the army is at a tactical disadvantage, even the bravest soldiers feel cowardly. This situation means to get the best out of subordinate, a manager relying on Sun Tzu concept will do everything possible to create an optimal work situation. When employees feel optimistic about the company's prospect, confident in its management, and positive about their own future with the company, they can do their best work. And last one is limitation of war. Sun Tzu's work was not addressed to modern business people or even their ancient Chinese equivalents, but to generals and warlords during the Chalcolithic, Warristic era of Chinese history. Sun Tzu treated warfare as a situation in which normal moral rules are suspended and anything goes. Business people who take this as advice to literally could wind up in ethical or even legal trouble because business is not really an anything goes situations. Moral and legal limitations still apply. According to an article called Sun Tzu and Wise Management by Dennis M.C. Kent, managers must remain aware of the ways in which warfare and business are not alike if they wish to apply Sun Tzu effectively to modern business and strategy.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. So I would like to explain about the application of Sun Tzu theory. So why management need to apply this theory? Basically, Sun Tzu theory can be applied to any kind of organization in order to enhance the management operation. Sun Tzu theory may help the organization to overcome inaccuracy operation to be more effective and efficient. Sun Tzu management concepts are timeless and if applied correctly can help manager increase their business profitability and their own professional practice. Sun Tzu advocates that management should consider the internal and external environment factor before waging in war. These factors include moral influence, doctrine, strength, training and discipline. After acknowledging these factors, management can be operated with efficiently and well organized. The theory also educates us that before going to fight, a person should make a comprehensive plan to make the process become more simple and clear. So how to apply this theory? But regarding to Sun Tzu theory, it will be better to capture the enemy rather than killing him because the enemy might reveal the information of opponent regarding their strategy and strength in order to defeat them. Sun Tzu once said that to subdue the enemy without fighting is the peak of skill. So through this statement, it will be great to seize any alternative method rather than engaging the competitor directly, such as aggressive price war with the competitor in the market. The price war is worthless because it may reduce the profitability of the market, especially to our organization. The theory also explained that in order to sustain and survive in market, an organization need to diminish the enemy's role in market. There are several ways that can be utilized, such as upgrade the quality of service in organization so that the reputation of organization is acknowledgement. In other hand, organization might also do an analysis regarding the needs and want of target market to capture the market attention. Lastly, Sun Tzu theory encourage organization to think beyond the simple goal and result, and in the same time remember that direct solution is not always the best method. So secondly, the theory teach us to avoid the competitor's strength and attack their weakness part. Sun Tzu once said that an army may be likened to water, for just as flowing water avoids the heat and hasten to the lowlands, so an army avoids strength and strike weakness. Thus, the organization should look forward for competitor weakness instead of strength, because regarding to Sun Tzu theory, attack the competitor's strength might lead to budget overrun, and in the same time the method applied might be worthless to the resources mostly. So the efficient way to challenge the competitor in market by beating their weakness area of expertise. This can be explained by the following example. Let's say we own a travel agency and the competitor's strength is on airline side online sales due to a large discounting provide and extensive corporate flight network compared to our business. So if we try to compete by giving the discount rate same as them, it may reduce our profit in large amount. The best way to fight the competitor is through their weakness, which is in car rental package. In this sector, we may develop an effective marketing campaign or give discount price to pull the client away from the competitor. Hence, an organization might gain such a huge advantage that may increase their chance to compete with the competitor's strength. Next application is management might utilize the power of business intelligence through the expansion of knowledge and skill. To relate this application with Sun Tzu theory, it can be explained through this following statement. Know the enemy and know yourself. In 100 battle, you will never be in peril. Based on the following statement, it can be determined that organizations should understand their business environment by studying their sales figure, productivity rates of employees, and customer retention feedback to develop a new strategy that will enhance the management operation. After analyze those factors, management may determine which sector should be strengthened with knowledge and skills to improve the productivity rate of organization. Everyone in organization must be aware with vision and mission of organization, while in the same time persistent to achieve those goals. Thus, the theory educates us to know the internal and external factors that might influence the management operation before competing with competitors. So last but not least, management should consider to develop a leader that possesses with leadership a characteristic to maximize the potential of employees. According to Sun Tzu, when one treats people with benevolence, justice and rightness and repose confidence in them, the army will be united in mind and all will be happy to serve their leader. The following statement demonstrates that a great leader influences the potential of the employee in the workplace. To be a true leader, the person should develop certain ability that require him to work hard to achieve it. Besides that, the person should work hard than any other staff and can perform any job given. Sun Tzu also revealed that a truly great leader inspires their employees in any aspect of work. A leader must be able to guide and instruct their employees in any matter that relate to work especially. Last but not least, Sun Tzu characterized a leader as someone that is wise, consistent, honest, human and courage while also being strict.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening for everyone. My name is Naishike binti Ramli. My metric number 254777. I will continue about contribution or benefit management of the theory. Contribution of Sun Tzu. The first one is do not rush into war. The stakes in war are high for a country to win. For a country that wants to win, they must use all the military tools that are available in their country. Military tools that lead to victory should not be leaked to anyone. If not, it will never succeed. In Sun Tzu theory, he talked about the financial cost of war and also enormous burden of taking people out of civilian roles and using them as soldiers in the field. If we rush in the war, it will cause loss of money and also can cause death as well as distribute. If we rush in the war, it will cause loss of money and also cause death as well as destruction of property. Therefore, war is not the main principle of a country to achieve their ambition because it is very costly. However, victory is useless if there is not improvement in development aftermath. Second is the professionalization of the military. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu talked about the importance of the success with his military administration. He explained that the fighter or the team will be more enthusiastic if they have a good theory, arrangement, and clarity of the right direction. For example, if a general gathers his team but does not take advantage of it, if he appreciates them but cannot give instruction to him, if his team is not neat and he cannot control it, they may be equated with spoilers and useless children. It can be seen in a story by historian Suma Chen, which he tells how Sun Tzu told King Wu that he could even prepare his mistress to fight, showing that everyone could gather for a common purpose, which the condition is to prepare them in the right way. This story reflects Sun Tzu's belief that anyone can be a good fighter as long as they have a wise leader by using his mind to apply combat knowledge. Third is know your enemy and know yourself. One quote from Sun Tzu theory is know your enemy and know yourself, so that in 100 fight you will never be in danger. Through this passage, Sun Tzu emphasizes that understanding the enemy, his tactic, and even his culture is very important if he wants to defeat the enemy. Despite technological advance in the field of war, the idea used by Sun Tzu made him win the war. We might look at his words just simple and it is only for the act of war, but he thought can be applied in ourselves. After knowing the strength and weakness of self and the enemy, the knowledge can be used to gain advantage without much effort. We can see that the idea of Sun Tzu has a greater influence of Western culture, even real politics. Next is benefit of Sun Tzu. The first one is capture market without destroying it. True quote of Sun Tzu. Generally, in the war, the best policy is to keep the country intact, because gaining 100 victories in 100 battles is not a skill. To subdue an enemy without fighting is a great ability. In business, trade, and to obtain fighting for market share and starting a price war, only to find out which one win when it ends. They have dominated the market but left it underprofitable. The aviation industry illustrates that declining in the market demand it made them losing their profit. For another example, Amazon does this in the book retail industry, grabbing most of the market and then growing to serve others. Netflix also outperformed Blockbuster with different business models being ignored, and now Red Bull has managed to find other ways to serve and win in the local video market. Second, avoid trade and attack weakness. According to Sun Tzu theory, forces can be equated with water, just as running water avoid height and rush to lowland, so that army avoid strength and attack weakness. Often, business will launch direct attack on competitor in the hope of making a profit, but direct attack on the strength of the company are rare. This is because they study and research the strength of the company to compete with other company. Therefore, the thing that must be done is to find the weaknesses of competitor and take advantage of them. For example, Walmart started their business in small town. In this way, the company can eliminate the weak local competitor and at the same time continue to grow stronger. The last one is choose better to achieve the goal. Based on Sun Tzu theory, he will win who know when to fight and when not to fight. Army can only be involved when they have a clear advantage. We should choose better in real life. To be a professional sportsman, firefighter, CEO, or president, we must have the desire to work hard to achieve it. Therefore, we must know what we can achieve and in which field will we be most successful. Sun Tzu recommends that military commanders avoid spreading their troops too thinly, as that will make the army weaker all the time. Similarly, in your career, we should diversify skill in a wise way. Sun Tzu teaching also can be used in daily life. For example, if you want to lose the weight, eating with a friend while starting a diet will not help you. Sun Tzu recommends following the lowest road. If you have a lot of habits that you want to build, you should start with the easiest habit to get started, rather than trying to change your life other ones.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Norita Betul Rashid. My metric number 254507. Today, I would like to present about the criticism of the management theory. There are several scholars that critique Sun Tzu theory. First is Derek Yuan. Sun Tzu being criticized for providing a cookbook of strategy tips, a how-to guide not just for winning in war, but for winning easily and with style. Sun Tzu say that if employee follow his strategy tips, so employer should hire them. If not follow Sun Tzu theory, that means employer should not hire them. That means Sun Tzu theory are more about the instruction and instead how to manage or handle something. Next is Chen and Lee. Chen and Lee say that Sun Tzu no relational approach to leadership. Basically, people more focus about reflection of the Confucian dialectic model of interpersonal role relationship. For example, relationship between the sovereigns and the minister. Yet Sun Tzu is mostly focused with the whole organization, for example, the collective followership or unity and the organizational member. Third is Kirkpatrick and Locke. Scholars conclude that Sun Tzu concept of wisdom and the importance of implementation have be important different with Western. For example, the Western concept of intelligence is a personality trait that is largely hereditary and non-malleable, whereas the Chinese concept of wisdom is more to continuous study and practice. Next is support. There are also several scholars that support Sun Tzu theory. First is McNally. McNally say that Sun Tzu art of war strategy helps one skill of negotiation while developing the self-discipline at the same time. Next is Douglas and McCready. McCready suggests that all modern nations should become familiar with Sun Tzu art of war, even as many Americans may consider unconventional. That means McGregor say that Sun Tzu theory are very relevant and suitable to use in management. Third is Locke. Locke also supports Sun Tzu by crediting Sun Tzu for anticipating the information-oriented strategic approach of the contemporary revolution in military affairs. For the conclusion, Sun Tzu art of war are about the advice on military success. The advice are also relevant and can be applied to any kind of organization in order to enhance the management skill. Sun Tzu theory are more focused about lying in wait, leadership, strategy, and inspiration and limitation of war. Although Sun Tzu theory is still very well known, this theory is still criticized. Sun Tzu theory criticized for being different from Western style in terms of the concepts of wisdom. These disadvantages are not mean Sun Tzu theory are useful, but these differences are to fill differences to make organization be more better.